Welcome back to another episode of Magic's in the Mess, the go-to podcast for ambitious women ready to stop pretending, start aligning, and finally build success your way. I'm your host, Danielle McKinley, speaker, business and wealth strategist, and your go-to problem-solving hype girl. Here, we'll help you unlock powerful mindset shifts, discover your magic, and bring your dream life into reality. Each week, I'll deliver raw stories, proven business strategies, and powerful transformations with industry leaders to activate the magic in you. So if you're ready to ditch the pressure, the performative BS, and the noise telling you who you should be, hit subscribe and let's make some magic. Hey, magic makers, welcome back to Magic's in the Mess, where we turn real life chaos into clarity, cash flow, and moves that actually get you where you want to go. If you've been following along the last couple of episodes, then you know we've been on quite a journey. We started with uncovering the gifts that you've been hiding, the ones that are so natural to you, you might not even realize how valuable they are. Then we talked about building the habits that actually make those gifts work in the real world. And today, we're talking about the bridge between those two things, the part where your gifts and your habits actually turn into money in the bank. And that bridge, my friends, is sales. Now, before you cringe and picture some pushy bro in a bad suit talking you into something you don't want or need, hear me out. Sales, when done right, it isn't about scripts or manipulation. Sales is simply a transfer of belief from you to the person you're talking to. So if you don't believe in yourself, in your offer, and in your ability to get results, they won't either. That belief or lack thereof it comes through before you even get into the pitch. So today, I'm going to share the 3 beliefs you must strengthen to make selling feel natural and aligned, plus the money story leaks that can tank your sales without you even realizing it. Let's get into it. So here's the thing. People think that selling is about saying all the right words. And yes, your words matter, but the energy underneath those words, that's what your potential client or prospect is actually responding to. So when someone buys from you, they're buying your certainty, your conviction, your energy. They want to feel like this is the person who can help me. She's the one that can solve my problem. Okay. I've been on sales calls where people were clearly on the fence. They had objections, they had questions, but they could feel how much I believed in what I was offering, and it shifted everything. So here's the trap. If your money story tells you that selling is pushy, or that people can't afford you, or that you're asking too much, that belief leaks into the conversation. What happens is you start to pull back, you downplay your value, you over-explain, you use a different voice, and it kills your own energy because they haven't even had a chance to say yes. Okay? So the first belief that you need to lock in is the belief in yourself. You have to know, and I mean like deeply know in the depths of your soul, deep in your bones, that you're the right person to help this client, to serve this person. And this doesn't mean you have to be the most experienced person in the industry or the cheapest or the one with the flashiest testimonials or the best website. In fact, like this could be your first client, but it means that you have to know what you bring to the table. You know the results you can help someone get, and you're not questioning whether you belong in the room. Okay. So if you've ever dealt with or felt imposter syndrome, and we all have, right? Like, let's be real. Here's the reframe I want you to think about. Stop focusing on who you aren't yet and start focusing on who you can help right now. Okay, so stop focusing on who you aren't yet and start focusing on what you can and who you can help right now. Okay, so, and this is for, especially for those of you that are just getting started. Maybe you just left your corporate job and you're starting a new business, or maybe you pivoted and you have a new offer. You need to have conviction and belief in yourself that you're the right person to serve and help that person. So here's a quick exercise. I want you to grab a pen and I want you to write down 10 reasons you're qualified to help someone today. Not someday, not when you get the next certification or you get a few clients under your belt. Right now. Keep that list where you can see it. And I want you to look at it before every sales conversation or discussion, even if you're selling just in the DMs and you're not doing full sales presentations. Okay, so pause this episode right now. If you're driving, take a look at what the time marker is and come back to it. And I want you to write those 10 things down. Now, the second belief is the belief in your offer. Look, if you wouldn't buy it yourself, then neither will they. You need to feel so good about what you're selling that you're confident you would recommend it to your best friend or family member. Okay. This means that the transformation is clear, the outcome is specific, and the price feels aligned with the value that's coming from it. Not inflated because you were quote unquote told to charge more, and not deflated because you're scared people won't pay it. Okay. So I've had offers in the past that I struggled to sell, and looking back, it wasn't because they were bad offers. It's because I didn't feel 100% about them. And once I restructured those offers so that they were bulletproof, clear process, clear value, clear results, the sales got easier because my energy around it shifted. And yes, your money story, it shows up here too. So if you've been undercharging out of guilt or over delivering because you don't feel worthy of that price, it's going to show in this area. Okay. And we'll get to some more tips for that here in a minute. Now, the third belief, this is the one that might be the most overlooked. And it's the belief in their results. Their results meaning like your client. Okay. So you have to believe that the right person, the person who's ready and committed, can and will get the outcome you're promising if they do the work. Okay. So if you doubt whether they can get results, you'll subconsciously start to convince them instead of simply guide them. And here's the thing. People don't want to be convinced. They want to feel seen, understood, and empowered to make a decision. So this is also where you have to separate your role from their responsibility. Your job is to create the space, the tools, the strategy. Their job is to show up and do the work. So when you hold that line, you can believe in their potential without taking on their results as your personal burden. Okay. Now, let's talk about the money leaks I spoke about briefly in the beginning and kind of tied throughout those three belief systems. Now, these are like the little ways your money story can quietly sabotage your sales. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. First one, are you assuming people can afford you before you even make the offer? Assumptions are the worst thing we can do for ourselves as humans. And I'm going to give you a real life example. This happened last night with my son. My son came home from basketball practice in tears, like borderline hysterical. So I, of course, run up to him. What, are you okay? What's going on? Making sure he's all right. Are you hurt? And he's like, no. I'm like, talk to me. What's going on? And he says, Mom, I'm the worst one on the team. I shouldn't be on the team. No one wants me on the team. Nobody ever passes to me. And he's hysterical. So I give him a big old hug and I ask him a question. I say, Grayson, did your teammates tell you that? Did they tell you you're the worst one on the team? Did they tell you that they won't pass to you? Did they tell you that you shouldn't be there? Did they tell you that you're not good? And he kind of stops crying. He looks up at me and he goes, well, no, but I just feel that way. And I said, great. I said, bud, I'm going to teach you something about life. The sooner you can learn to not make assumptions about what people think about you, the easier your experiences will be. And this goes for anything, my friends. So if you're assuming that people can't afford you before you've even put the offer out there, you're taking yourself out of the game. You're benching yourself. You're kicking yourself off the team, much like my son was doing. Okay, so if that question like hits you like a gut punch, good. It should, because you got to stop making assumptions about what other people think of you. Okay, now the second question is, are you tying your worth to whether someone buys from you? And my gosh, this is a big one. This is one I really had to unravel when I was in my cocoon season that I've talked about earlier. But if you are wrapping up your worth into them purchasing from you, you've got a lot of work to do. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're behind. It means you've got a money story that needs to be unraveled and rewired. And by unravel, what I mean there is understood. Like, where did that belief come from so that we can acknowledge it, be aware of it, and then start to rewire it. Okay. Now, the third question is, are you discounting or throwing in extras because you feel guilty charging what you charge? And this is one I see a lot. And this is for like my people pleasing tendency people out there. This is a really common one. And here's what I want you to know: we teach people how to treat us in all aspects of life. We hear that often when it comes to like intimate relationships, boyfriends, husbands, wives, that kind of thing. But this is true everywhere in life: friendships, clients, everywhere. We teach people how to treat us. So if we're constantly discounting or throwing in extras, that becomes an expectation because we've taught people that that's how we run our business, that that's how we charge. And when they refer people to you, they're going to talk about that. And then the referral is going to expect that. And then it becomes this perpetual cycle where you're constantly discounting and throwing in extras. So again, this ties back to your money story and where that comes from. So if that one hits you, again, same thing. We just have some money story identifying to do and some rewiring work. And that's why I'm so passionate about identifying this, because it's truly such a blocker for so many entrepreneurs. And once unlocked, it is so cool to see what happens to people. So these things may even seem small, but here's what happens: they chip away at your confidence. And that's why I start every single client with their money story in my SOTU. It's also called the State of the Union, because until you clean up those beliefs, no sales technique in the world is going to feel natural to you. And when your beliefs are aligned and your money story is clean, you don't have to force confidence. It just shows up. So before your next sales conversation, I want you to check these 3 beliefs: belief in yourself, belief in your offers, and belief in your results. And I want you to rate them 1 to 10. And if any of them are below an 8, it's a signal that you have work to do before you try to sell, before you make the offer. And it's common. But doing this is really going to help build your confidence, doing the work first on those 3 areas. Because here's the truth: when your belief is strong, selling stops feeling like selling. It starts feeling like helping. And that's what we're all trying to do anyway. We're trying to serve and solve a problem and help collapse timelines and just help people become their best selves. So by you investing in you and doing the work on those belief systems and your money story, you are so much more prepared to serve in the way that you want to serve. Okay. So if you're ready to strengthen your sales confidence from the inside out and to really understand these things, and you want to collapse the timeline, you want to boost the experience and get there faster, then I highly encourage you to schedule a money mapping session with me. I'll include a link in the bottom of the show notes. And this will help us really identify where the block is, get you unblocked, get you clear, and give you some additional tools and techniques to really help your progression and everything that you're working so hard for. Okay. So remember, when your belief in yourself, your offer, and your clients' results, when you believe in all of that, selling becomes the most natural part of your business. And that, my friends, is where the magic happens. So thank you so much for tuning in. If this episode was helpful, it would mean so much to me if you could like, comment, rate, review, share it with a friend, tag me on a post on Instagram. I love, love, love connecting with you. Most importantly, I want you to go believe in yourself. Go believe in yourself, because you are meant to make magic. Thanks, and see you next time.